Hey, my name is Tamara on Tammy Talks. You're welcome to my podcast, Tammy Talks Podcasts. I'm very glad to be alive. I'm excited that God has thought it wise, or God has given me the opportunity to be alive today, which is why I'm making this podcast. I hope you're safe. I hope you're in soundness of mind and good health, because if you live in Lagos, Nigeria, it's not been an exactly easy. I'm even lost for the right words to say right now, because we've had a lot of deaths this last week, and it has made me extremely emotional. And I just feel like the best thing I can give back to my listeners is a beacon of light and hope. It's not a sad story, and it has nothing to do with what's going on in Nigeria right now, because I'm actually a podcaster in Lagos, Nigeria. It's more about what happens in life, how we get disappointed in life, and how we have to pick up the pieces of our lives back together. Now, I'm going to be telling a story about somebody called Lulu. Her story inspired me, and I felt I would share with you. She was born to an unwed mother, and her mother had her as a teenager and died due to overdose of drugs. And shortly after, she had to go stay with her grandmother at a very tender age. At 4, her grandmother took her to an orphanage. Her father was nowhere to be found, and her mother was dead, so to say. And the unfortunate thing about her was that she had a thyroid dysfunction, and thyroid dysfunctions usually happen to people who have a hard time shedding weight. So if you are obese or you are on the big side, I'd advise you to check your thyroid function, or maybe you added this weight for one reason or the other. It's wise to check it, because if it's low, you might not be able to shed weight like you want. She had diabetes. There were a lot of things wrong with her, and people used to make a lot of fun of her when she was really young. She was very small, and she had no parental guidance whatsoever. And, it affected her growing up, of course. She always had to put up a front because she didn't want to look weak. She didn't really have who to talk to. She was just living life. And of course, when a child has been mocked over time, when a child has been trampled on over time, you don't expect the child not to find solace in something else that is giving them love. And for her, she felt that the only thing that was giving her love at that point was drugs. And she didn't mind, because nobody loved her. Everybody was always abusing her and calling her names, calling her a fat kid. And of course, she had diabetes too that she was also dealing with. She was going to drugs. She was drifting to drugs, if I would say so. She wasn't somebody who you would say was whole. She used to make jokes out of nothing just because she wanted to seem like she was okay, but everybody around her knew she was okay, not okay rather. She fell pregnant at some point, and the person who she got pregnant for denied the pregnancy, and of course, she was repeating her mother's life, which was for her having a child outside wedlock, not being fit to take care of the child because she had health complications. She had a child, and the thing is, because she had taken so much drugs before she had that child did not come out properly, and it was only God that saved that child. Long story short, there were a lot of medical complications, and on the child's case file, it was called Act of God. Now, this is somebody who, her situation was hopeless. She was unloved. Nobody loved her. You know, when you see all these people that are, I'm sorry, I'm not body shaming anybody, but you see when you see all these people that are very, 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 like extremely big, don't laugh at them. You really don't know what might have caused it. You really don't know what might have happened. It might not necessarily be food. It might just be that something inside of them might not be functioning properly, right? And eventually her son came through. She found Christ at some point because she became a Christian. That's why she was telling this story. And somehow she got control of her life. She got healed. She relocated. She had a new life. She was able to drop some pounds, because whether you like it or not, when you lose weight, you feel better with yourself. And we all know that. She had such a terrible childhood that she probably could not even say all the memories she went through. I know that at some point in that story, she talked about being sexually abused by some of the older guys in the orphanage. Now, she didn't really have a rosy life, and somehow God had mercy on her and she was able to get a hold of her life. I'm saying this story because a lot of us are in this phase where we have tried everything to make our country work. That's Nigeria. And it is not just working. Our country has taken so much and inhaled so much to destroy the nation. When I mean inhaled, I'm talking about the people that are leading us. And, everybody's trying not to be too direct about certain things right now, because there have been a lot of threats going on, long story short. Now, I remember that there was sometime last week when a lot of jokes were flying around over what had happened when our president had addressed us and all of that, and people started laughing about relocating, about moving on and all of that. Well, I saw some people say, oh, you don't have 100,000 in your account, you're thinking of relocating and blah and blah. Now, in the last few weeks, our sanities have been questioned. We probably have not really been in the right state of mind, maybe due to so much social media exposure. Before we can move on to effect changes, I would like to say certain things which I think are basic and will help you feel better. First of all, get enough sleep. Don't be a hero. Do the best you can do for your country, but don't be a hero. Try and sleep. Limit social media exposure. I've had to talk to myself in the last few days to reduce my social media exposure so that I don't become mad in a way. Make your bed every day. I know a lot of us just do something and leave the house, or even when we're at home, probably did not even do all of that. Fold your clothes. Have your bath daily. These are very basic things that will keep you in check. Above all, limit social media exposure at this point, but it's now time for you to reset your own goals and find out if it aligns to what is currently going on. If you are patient enough, or if you want to be part of the change agents, or if you want to move on, it's your personal choice. I mean, at this point, I know everybody's exhausted. I'm not going to now start instigating stay and change Nigeria and all of that. I mean, you've gotten to a point where you are frustrated or you are unloved, just like Lulu in the story. I'm relating all the negative things she experienced to how you feel right now. The level of unemployment right now is very high, and a lot of people are suffering for it. A lot of people cannot feed their families. So it's not out of place when you start saying things like you don't even mind going to Togo or Ghana. It's your choice. I'm all for mental health. If you feel like moving out of here would help you think, then go for it, because you probably will not rest till you do what you want to do. plan yourself properly, but do the basic things like I mentioned, because a lot of us don't do it. It will clear your head. And write out your goals. Don't let people confuse you. Do what you want to do. Pray about it. It's very important. But do what you want to do at this point. It's a beacon of hope and light. That's the title of this podcast. And I'm pouring out my heart to you because I just feel like that's the best I can do right now. And you're entitled to your own life. You're entitled to your own opinion. Do your best to change your situation with the help of God. Okay? I hope you've been touched by this podcast. I hope you've been blessed somehow by this podcast. If it doesn't get better and we are still in curfew in Lagos, Nigeria, do the things I've asked you to do. And then for those of us who work from home, keep working from home to engage your mind, okay? I hope you had a wonderful time. I hope it's been inspiring. I hope you've learned one or two. Till we meet again next week, Sunday. Have a blast this week. Lastly, don't forget, create a playlist, a very soothing playlist to take your mind off the stress. I love you guys and bye-bye.